Councilman Stichels.
Well, I've heard this complaint before, or this concern, and we did plant some trees up there to try to muffle the sound a little bit. That was one suggestion. Another suggestion would be to have them use a different firing range in another community. But the last time I went up there, it's a pretty grim-looking location. And I think people should know we spend $60,000 a year on ammunition for people to practice at the firing range, which strikes me as quite high. But I'm told that that's a requirement,
10 seconds.
state requirement.
Councilman Hopkins.
Thank you. I hear it depending on which way the wind's blowing. Being in Garden City, being in the center of the city. From the eastern side, I hear it from the Warwick Airport. And then when the wind blows from the west, I can hear it from our gun range. I know right now they're doing some renovations to the facility, trying to do some type of silent walls to put up, similar to the ones that we put all along the highway to obstruct some of the noise. I would hope that in the future, maybe when we can afford to make that an indoor range with some type of protection to keep it silenced, so that we can help some of those neighbors. And that was one of the reasons why we went in with the zoning the way we did last week's. Those houses would have literally would have abutted that firing range, and that's one of the reasons why we went against it.
Thank you. Councilman Farina.
Thank you. The big issue with the range at this point is they've been shooting firearms at the range for a long, long time. The issue that we have now is they're using AR-15s to qualify, and they're using AR-15s to practice. AR-15s are typically much, much louder than your average handgun, and members of the state police, because of new state requirements and federal requirements, have to qualify with an AR-15 because they're in the trunks of some of their vehicles. They're working on sound deadening. I know the councilman in Ward 5 has been very vigilant working against this issue for his constituents. I've been very supportive of him. I will continue to support him in making sure his residents' needs are met. It is very loud. It has gotten louder over the last few years. I'm hopeful that the sound deadening equipment will take the sound away to a degree. I think we're going to have to keep watching it to make sure the city's doing all they can to solve the problem. I agree with Councilman Hopkins.
10 seconds.
We should look at potentially making an indoor range when we have the ability.